Good morning, guys. Welcome back to Get Your Wellies. And this morning we have a project in this beautiful weather. This morning we're going to work on the water feature. Some of you have seen this and asked more about it, so we're going to talk about that today. So join me. But as always, why don't you get your wellies? Meet me in the garden. Well, good morning again, guys. Some of you have seen this water feature before, and I wanted to keep it going this year. The very first year I put a little fountain that floated in here. That did not work out very well, primarily because it was either too slow to really look like anything much, and then as sometimes the sun would get bright and it'd make the fountain more powerful, and I lost a lot of water that way. So this right now has no active water feature in it, and I have got holes in the side that kind of correspond with the bottom of this trough. So when I fill that up, it doesn't get too full, but it'll fill the bottom of this trough to give the plants some water. Now all of these plants do not mind their feet being wet. And I bought these last year. The first year I had Mexican petunias in here, and they actually do quite well with wet feet. They are actually tolerant of all kinds of water conditions. So this is a grass. This is like a pampas grass. I bought this and it had just 3 little shoots on here. The prices of plants are just kind of getting crazy to me, so I bought a small one. I'm okay with that because it really doesn't take long. Once these plants get going, it really doesn't take long for them to start sending off all kinds of new shoots. And you know, we got 9 or 10 little grass tufts. I'm not sure what you call those, but we'll call them tufts on there. This one is a pitcher plant. Pitcher plants start off with these little, look like sprigs of grass coming out, but then the end of this will develop into like a cone or a tube, and it has a lid on it. And these are actually a carnivorous plant. This one under here is a little more developed. It's a carnivorous plant, so insects, and if these get really big, even small reptiles like lizards, which we have tons of those around here, small frogs, that kind of thing, will slip in there due to a secretion on the inside, and then they just get absorbed. So it's kind of an interesting talking point. The other thing that is cool about this, I actually left all of this alone over the winter. So one of the parts broke that had the grass in, so I did replace that, but with a whole new plant. That grass was huge, and I did find it coming up in other areas of the garden, which I didn't really want that, but it happened anyway. So this plant there was nothing, just a bunch of dead plants, dead pitchers, and pretty much once they have been used up, absorbing insect, then that part of the plant will die, and but it'll continuously grow new sprouts from the bottom. So what's great about this is it actually froze over the winter, and yet still is producing. So now we have 2 actual pitchers and another 3 on the way, and I'm quite sure it'll send up more shoots before it's over with. Now this plant is called a bare root, bare like B-E-A-R, and this one stayed in here all winter. It died off and it came back quite quickly, started to see new leaves coming up a few weeks back. It also has a long shoot that came out, and on that there are nodes along the stem. So I would probably need to lay this down and put a couple of little pots under there, just so I can get some extra plants. And I will overwinter these in the garage and not be so mean as to leave them out next year anyway. Now this is a water lettuce, and these are a floating plant. You can see the roots here. And these, if you go to the store, a lot of the aquatic places that do, like, you know, outdoor ponds, they're going to sell these. And these are about $5 this year. This was a lot smaller when I got it. And I did that on purpose because I've learned the last couple of years, don't buy more than one, because this thing has already divided to one. This was the original one. And there's another little baby one right here. So these things are quite prolific. So I like to keep those in there, because if you can keep that water shaded under these leaves, and this will just spread out and cover all of the water surface, that does a couple of things. It will keep that water cooler. This of course sits in the sun, so it's still going to get kind of warm. And if you do have any living things in there that you want to protect, that's a great hiding place for them. Also something they can eat. So there are some benefits to having that. So this is the water feature as it exists right now. And what I want to do is add some movement to this water. It would be fine leaving it just plain like this, and still would be a point of interest. But I had that fountain in there. That fountain just was too much. I lost a lot of water and that kind of thing, and it ended up dying. The motor didn't last very long. It worked very well when the full sun was on it, but as the evening came around, not so much. So I found one, and I want to say it was about $12 on Amazon, a little pump that I can set down. This is a rock under here, cinder block, so I'm going to set the pump under here and then run the tube up and have it just trickle out into the top of this, and then it will drain through the bottom. So that way, even if the water level gets a bit low, we've got two things. We've got some water getting into the bottom of that trough for the plant roots, and hopefully we'll have that little trickling sound that's just so relaxing in the garden. So this is, you know, right now I still got a lot of work to do out here, but this is really my happy place. And I'm standing kind of right behind where you are. That's where I like my chairs to be, and in the evening time when the shade comes around, it's just lovely to sit out here. So okay guys, well, let's go take a look at this pump, see what we've got in the box. I haven't even opened it yet. All right guys, so I am sitting in the shade. I put the camera in the shade because it is getting hot over in that direct sun, and that camera will sometimes tap out on me if it gets too hot, which is fine. I don't want it to self-destruct. So this is the box that came from Amazon, and let's see what we have here. See what it is. Honestly, you know, I might have even opened the wrong box. I guess we'll see in a minute. Yeah, that was just to keep it all straight in there. Okay, so, you know, it's this size box. This is a typical Amazon style. What we actually have is only this big. And it is supposed to come with a little solar panel. Looking at it now, I might know why it costs $12, but we'll give it a try. These look like pump fittings. And this is the pump. Let's see. try and get this so you can see it. You can see in my hand, this is not a big pump, and that's okay. We'll see. Yeah, no, it's not a big pump, but hopefully it'll do the job, huh? Then it has, this looks like a mount for the solar panel, I'm gonna guess. There's the solar panel. Well, it does have a little filter with it, a couple of filters actually, so that's good. Okay, so this, you know, everything looks bigger on the on the pictures, but so this is where our solar panel attaches, and I do have a nice south-facing place to put it, but I will tell you, I'm not real excited about having this on the ground where I have to like weed eat and all of that. So this is probably going to get mounted up. This is, the panel actually is pretty nice. It's seems like it's pretty well enclosed. I don't know if there's it doesn't feel like there's anything that comes off, like a cover or anything, so I'm not going to pull on that. You know, some of these, if you forget to pull the cover off, you're kind of in trouble because they start melting up and stuff. But yeah, this one looks pretty well made, but I cannot see having that sitting on the floor. It's stuck in the ground on a permanent scale, so I'm going to have to figure out a way to mount this. I may get one of those, not a T-post, but one of those metal posts, or even a piece of rebar actually, to set this on so it's on something really sturdy. Okay. So the pump actually has a filter in it already. Let me see. I don't want to get that too close to the camera because it won't show. But this has a filter in it already. And you know, that water is not the cleanest, so that's probably a good thing that we have that. And it actually has mounting screws in there. I just don't know there's any way to mount it right there on the, I mean, I guess I could mount it to the trough, but I don't know. We'll see. I'll see when we get over there. I'm literally bringing you along for the ride here. I have not even looked at this before. I guess I should look at the basic instructions. What I really want to do is put some kind of a tube on here to run that up into the trough and let it trickle out in there. So I think I'm going to see if I have some tubing that might fit that. So I'll take a look for that. All right, guys, so what I did, I had to run the store and get some tubing. This is, see, get the label up there, we can see it. This is 3 1/8" outer diameter, 1/4 inch inner diameter, just clear tubing. Now, I didn't find a dark one there, but you could argue it might be better to do it with that because then algae won't grow as quickly on the inside. I'm just going to try it. There's a lot more than I need here, so I'm going to go. See, this attached perfectly to the pump. I just took that with me to make sure. So I'm going to go and see if I can find a good position in the water feature to put this pump, and then to run the tubing out to where it just kind of trickles into the trough. So let's go over there and try that. Okay, so I'm going to have to be a little careful not to drop anything important in the water here. So if you can see, this is the top of a cinder block, and there is, almost a bit scared to put my hand in here, but there's our water lettuce. It gets more sun here at the front, so I'm going to leave that right there. Now then, I think it makes more sense to set this pump on here and then run both the cables toward the back. The one for the solar panel is pretty long, which is good because I can mount it up higher if I come up with a better way of doing it. So for right now, I'm going to put that, just lay it out on the, actually I'll just hang it here off the tripod. And I know you can't really see what I'm doing exactly, but, and then what I want to do, make sure this is going to be a good fit on here. So there's some room under this trough. So that's actually probably a pretty good place for that. Let me just see what I got down in there. Yeah, this is like the top of the cinder block, and it could just sit on there. I just want it to be in far enough that there's something holding it in there. So I don't want to like bend the tubing over too much, but it needs to kind of, yeah, see, it's going to crimp off if I do it too much. So what might actually work could be to raise the edge of the trough and tuck that wire under there. Yeah, I think we'll bring the tubing out the back. Okay, so what I've done is kind of pinch this wire for the solar panel under the edge of the trough. And then the tube is right here. It's sticking up out of the water a little bit, so there's no folding over on the pump. And this is the top of the pump, kind of right below my finger. We probably got like 1.5 inches to spare maybe. So if it gets low on water, it does have a shut off, so that pump won't run dry. And the end of the tube right now is just up here. I've got it wedged in, and I'll probably just get some more rocks, which I have a ton of them over there, and I'll fill in around here and just let the water trickle out on there. So the next stage is to get the solar panel and see if it works. Be right back, guys. Okay, so now I'm going to hook up the solar panel, and for right now, just to make sure it's working, we'll just that just plugs right onto that wire there. Easy peasy. Now I've got too much of this let out, so I'm going to have to string that up. I think my best option would be to put a little post back here between the tub and the tumbler composter here, and see if, let's try this, see if I can maybe mount that up a little bit. You know, if the plants grow, that's going to be a problem, but if they grow tall, I mean, they're going to grow. So let's put that Oh, I heard some. Oh, wow. It's actually quite forceful. Goodness. Not what I was expecting. Wow. I think we may get our trickling sound after all. Let me just lay that on the floor for now. And I'm going to get some stones and try and arrange that where it's a little bit more controlled. Okay. Well, we have a little water flow here. It's not making a trickling noise like I would love, but it's actually kind of fast. I really don't want it just spraying into the pot, so I'm going to have to rig it a little bit, and I'm okay with it like that. So we'll put some more rocks around to make it look prettier. But yeah, that's pretty good. That'll help keep the base of this trough cleared out. I can tell if you just put one hand over the solar panel, it really slows it down to nothing. The panel's pretty, it's good when it's on, but it's pretty sensitive. Okay, there's a, I hope you can see that on there okay. I think you can. This sun is so bright that it's hard to see the screen, but yeah, I think you can see that okay. I did notice the panel is pretty sensitive. If I just put my hand just over it just a little, I mean, it will slow it way down. But that's okay. And that's giving some water at the bottom of that trough, and it'll just run back out into the barrel. So some circulation of water is good for oxygen. Plants being in there helps with oxygen. So last year I did try some fish. That did not work out very well. Yeah, those poor little goldfish just couldn't make it in there, and I'm not really sure why. It could have been too warm. I didn't check the temperature, but it may well have been that. Anyway, if you have a water feature and you got some good ideas for these real small water features, leave a comment below. And if you're thinking about one, you know, you don't have to have water running in it. You can have it just stationary, like I had mine a couple hours ago, and but it adds a nice element. It's having water in your garden, in your yard, just adds another element to having nature around you, and it's very enjoyable. So anyway, I thought you might like that, so thanks so much for tagging along with me. If you enjoyed the video, give me a thumbs up, and hit the notification bell if you want to see more videos coming. And most of all, if you haven't subscribed to the channel yet, please do that. Likes and subscribes really help the algorithm, so that really ultimately helps me to grow as a YouTuber. And I just appreciate you all tagging along and making comments and enjoying the videos. That's the most important thing to me. So guys, I hope you have a great weekend. If the weather's good where you are, get out there and do some gardening, get some stuff ready for the summer. The garden is slowly coming together here for me, and I have quite a few things to work on, but we're getting there. So thanks again for joining me. I'll see you on the next video. Well, gardeners, thanks again for joining me here on the channel. Enjoyed having you along. Hope you liked the video, and I will see you next time on Get Your Wellies. And until then, bye now.